Here we are, folks, reviewing my latest list of the top 18 high yield savings accounts in 2023. So let's go ahead and get started with HYSA's offering between 4 and 4.5% APY, and we'll work our way up from there. And yes, I will be reading from my notes with the latest available data for these HYSAs that I was able to take from their respective websites. All right, starting off the list, American Express with their high yield savings account currently offering a 4.15% APY, no minimum deposit requirements, no monthly maintenance fees, no minimum balance requirements. And I know from experience, because we still have our old American Express high yield savings account currently open over there with like $1 or $2 over there, because we did recently make the change to another high yield savings account, which I'll get into later in the video, mainly because we were able to get a higher yield on our emergency fund. And so we just basically moved the money over there. And again, I'll get into that a little bit later in the video. Next up is Ally's high yield savings account, currently offering a 4.25% APY, no monthly maintenance fees or minimum balance requirements. A little bit better than American Express, and it is good to see. Ally typically offers a one-stop shop for checking, savings, and even investing. So if you are already in that ecosystem with Ally, well, you could also look into their high yield savings account that you can get 4.25%, but continue to watch this video because you're going to see some other high yield savings accounts that are offering much higher yields. Also at 4.25% is E-Trade's high yield savings account, which is the first time I'm bringing up E-Trade, but they have no fees, no minimums. However, the account must be funded within 30 days to remain open. Something interesting to note with E-Trade is that they say on their site, the Premium Savings Bank Deposit Program, the program, gives Morgan Stanley Private Bank National Association the ability to sweep any amount held on deposit in your premium savings account to other depository accounts at Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation member banks, with the purpose of affording you additional FDIC insurance coverage. The program is designed to offer up to $500,000 in FDIC coverage to individual accounts, up to $1 million for joint accounts. So that's pretty awesome to see that even though the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation limit of that insurance that you get is $250,000, however they've done it, Morgan Stanley Private Bank was able to get you basically up to $500,000 of coverage for that individual account. So if you're looking for more coverage, if you're looking at one bank or one financial institution where you can get more FDIC coverage, more than the $250,000, well, you could always look at E-Trade. The next three on this list are Capital One, Discover, and Marcus by Goldman Sachs, all offering a 4.30% APY. They all have no fees, no minimum deposit requirements. And one thing to note with Marcus by Goldman Sachs, they do advertise that they have same-day transfers of $100,000 to or from other banks. Now, from my experience, there could still be delays with the other bank that you're going to be doing these transactions with. So you just want to make sure that whatever bank you're going to be connecting to Marcus by Goldman Sachs is not going to delay you from initiating and basically carrying out those transactions where you want that same-day transfer of up to $100,000. Now, I'm not going to lie, it is a bit disappointing to see these big name financial institutions not offering at least a 4.75% APY, given where the current federal funds rate is and what other banks are currently offering to consumers. As I mentioned before, we used to have our primary savings account with American Express, but we moved last winter to one of the banks that I'll be talking about here in just a second. And we moved primarily because of the significantly higher APY that we're currently receiving right now. But yes, I understand some people will still go with these big name banks, big name financial institutions because of the perceived trust factor. But I can tell you, after the move we made back in December 2022, it's been great. I haven't had any problems. Honestly, it's just been a great find for us to be able to get a little bit more earnings, a little bit more interest on our emergency fund that we have currently within our high yield savings account. Next up, we have high yield savings accounts that are offering a 4.5% APY and above, but below 4.75%. And at number 7, Citizens Access Savings. That high yield savings account is currently offering a 4.5% APY with no fees, but there is a 1 cent minimum amount that you're going to need to open the account with. But after that, it appears to be the same experience as the other banks that we talked about initially, where you're not going to have to worry about a minimum balance requirement or a minimum deposit amount. But with all of these banks, you do want to make sure that you're reading the fine print, because as we'll get into, some of them are explicit. Some of them could be hidden in what they say about having to make sure that you do fund that account within a certain amount of days, because if you don't, then that bank or that financial institution has authority to close your account. And maybe that'll inspire some videos on this channel where I get into deep dives of individual high yield savings accounts, where we go through in detail the different accounts. If that's something you want me to do, if that's something you would like to do, let me know in the comment section below. At number 8 is Lending Club, currently offering a 4.5% APY. Now they do have a $100 minimum deposit requirement. Now we are starting to see where that no minimum deposit requirement starts to go away with some of these financial institutions that are offering high yield savings accounts higher than what we've initially been seeing on this video so far. But once you get that initial $100 deposited into your Lending Club high yield savings account, there are no minimum balance requirements after that, and there are no monthly fees. And of course, as I've mentioned before, all of these high yield savings accounts are going to be FDIC insured. Next up, number 9, Sallie Mae. At 4.5% APY, there are no minimum balance requirements and no monthly maintenance fees. However, Sallie Mae says if you do not fund your account within 40 days of the account's opening date, they will close the account. If an account is dormant with a balance of $100 or less with no activity for the past 12 months, we reserve the right to close that account. Again, this is explicitly stated with Sallie Mae. Sometimes you've got to do a little bit digging with these accounts. Some of them don't have this stipulation and some of them do, but Sallie Mae, because they are a new add to my current list, I am going to make sure that I highlight this for those of you looking to open a high yield savings account with Sallie Mae. Next up is SOFI. SOFI is offering a 4.5% APY. When you open a SOFI savings account, you automatically open a SOFI checking account, and you have to have direct deposit activated to earn that 4.5% APY, and they will give you a bonus of $250. You just have to make sure you meet the requirements for that $250. But SOFI does seem to make things a bit complicated just to get that 4.5% and that initial deposit bonus of $250. So with the 4.5% and that $250 bonus offer that they are advertising on their website, it can be attractive to go to SOFI, but make sure you're reading the fine print, because they do make things a little bit confusing, a little bit complicated for you to be able to get that high APY as well as that bonus offer of $250. At number 11, PNC Bank. PNC Bank is currently offering a 4.65% APY on their high yield savings account with no monthly maintenance fees or service charges, no minimum deposit, and no minimum balance requirements. PNC Bank is one that you may want to look into, as they are an established financial institution. One of the issues I do have with PNC Bank is that the high yield savings account they offer is restricted based on where you live. So some states will be eligible, other states will not be eligible. You just have to follow the link in the description that'll take you to the PNC Bank's high yield savings account webpage, type in your zip code and see if you're eligible for their high yield savings account, which if you're not, don't worry, there are so many great high yield savings accounts that we're going to be covering that are offering even higher yields. So let's continue with the video. Now, the next group of high yield savings accounts come with a 4.75% APY or higher. And at number 12, we have BMO ALTO online savings account, their new high yield savings account. For a while, they had a high yield savings account that was just like PNC Bank, where it was restricted depending on where you live. But now they have this high yield savings account that they're offering with a 4.75% APY with no fees and zero minimum deposit requirements, no minimum balance requirements, and unlimited transfers and withdrawals. And so that's another one of those type of details that I'm going to be doing on some of these high yield savings account, where we do deep dives and we'll talk about the transfers and the withdrawal limits and whatever that may be. So definitely subscribe to this channel if you want to continue to learn more about high yield savings accounts, investing, and so on and so on. Next up, we have Bread Savings by Bread Financial, currently offering a 5% APY, the first one that we'll be talking about with a 5% APY or higher. Now, Bread Savings does require that you have a $100 minimum opening deposit, but there are no monthly fees, which is great. And it's pretty much standard as far as other features, just like the other high yield savings accounts where it's FDIC insured. But it's great to see financial institutions that are offering 5% or above APY don't have any monthly fees, especially for consumers who are looking to save a little bit more and have their emergency fund in a place where they don't have to worry about having monthly maintenance fees or whatnot, or minimum balance requirements that they need to have. Number 14 and number 15 are going to be with one financial institution, and that's going to be CIT Bank. Now, these two high yield savings accounts that CIT Bank currently offers have no monthly maintenance fees, but they do have a $100 minimum deposit. We're talking about the Savings Connect currently offering a 4.65% APY, and the Platinum Savings Account offering a 5.05% APY, with a caveat. In order to get that 5.05% APY, you have to maintain a balance of $5,000 or more, not $4,999.99. The APY that you're able to earn on your balance, if it's below $5,000, drops down to 0.25%. This is the Platinum Savings Account, which is a relatively new one compared to the Savings Connect account. We have the CIT Bank Savings Connect account. That's what we switched from American Express to CIT Bank's high yield savings account, the Savings Connect account, because that was the only high yield savings account that CIT Bank was offering at the time. And we currently do have a 4.65% APY that we are earning on our balance, on our emergency fund. And we like that because we know that it's possible that our savings balance, our emergency fund balance, could very well drop below $5,000 because we're more focused on building wealth and investing the money that we have, and possible emergencies could happen where we do have to dig into our emergency fund. But maybe if you personally don't have any issues with maintaining a balance of $5,000 or more, then the Platinum Savings Account that is offered by CIT Bank could very well be for you. Like I said, we have had no issues with our account that we've had with CIT Bank. They're very responsive, we have great customer service, and I can't express how happy we've been with CIT Bank. Really, it's been so far so good. Just that initial experience of the deposit taking a little bit time, but I do get into that experience in a video that I'll link in the description below. You can check that out after this video. All right, just a few more. We're at number 16 with UFB Direct, currently offering a 5.25% APY, no monthly fees and no minimum deposit requirements. Now, the only hiccup I have with UFB Direct is that from the research I've done online, their customer service has been less than desirable. If you can get past the reported poor customer service, then having a high yield savings account that's currently offering a 5.25% is definitely worth it if you're able to get past, like I said, the customer service part of it. But some people do complain. A lot of people actually do complain about their customer service. It is something that I do hope that they've been improving, because I'm pretty sure so many people are talking about this. Even if you go online and just type UFB Direct reviews, you're probably going to see exactly what I'm talking about. So UFB Direct, if you get your customer service up a little bit more improved, well, I'm pretty sure you'll start to see more and more clients, more and more new customers who are going to come to you. It's just a simple fix as far as getting the right customer service, getting the proper level of customer service offered to your customers. Number 17, BASK Bank, which currently has a 5% APY on their high yield savings account that they offer. There are no fees, no minimum deposit requirements. However, it is important to note that BASK Bank states if any account remains unfunded for 15 business days, they reserve the right to close that account. So again, there is that stipulation where you have to fund these accounts within a certain amount of time, or you may risk losing that access to the account. They will close the account that you tried to open. So just make sure you're aware that BASK Bank reserves the right to close your account after 15 business days if you haven't funded that account. Next up on this list is SALEM 5 Direct, currently offering a 5.01% APY. They do have a $10 minimum deposit requirement, but there are no monthly fees. And so this is another one of those 5% APY or higher high yield savings accounts where you can be rest assured that you're not going to have to worry about any monthly fees charged against you in order for you to be able to get that higher yield. Now, really important, having a high yield savings account is great, but your application for one could actually get denied. The video on the screen will reveal the reasons you could be denied a high yield savings account so that you can be prepared to make sure that you won't have any problems when you apply. Click on it and I'll see you over there. Peace.